Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. More drama with regard to the Atlanta FaZe. Arcitys revealing the disrespect that his teammates showed to him when they decided to drop him, telling his friends and family before they told him, and potentially lying about a replacement during all this drama. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, Crimsix, he's back on the road, baby. Got a track day going on in the beautiful blue Porsche. And even this guy actually notices Crimsix on the roads, and he calls him Ian Pointer, which I thought was pretty funny. But I mean, yeah, Crim, he's out and about, but probably not going to get a spot next year. We don't really know. Definitely some roster stuff to mention though here. First of all, from Zuma, because he did say that now he doesn't play Claw anymore, and he's kind of adapted to it. He feels like his hand might be okay enough to return. Now, like, I don't think Zuma is going to return. We have seen in other games recently, like Valorant and stuff, the kind of old school pros that have done content for a while want to return. I don't think Zuma will. I think Zuma's got too much of a great thing going on right there now with the Zumafia, and I think it would be a loss to the COD scene actually if Zuma was to return to competing, because, you know, the flank and stuff wouldn't be able to happen in the same way that it does. But yeah, it's pretty cool that Zuma thinks he can still return, because he's still been trying lately. So good to see that, you know, despite retiring for a couple of years, he's still got what it takes potentially at the very least. This is another thing going on with regard to aBeZy. So we heard the rumors for quite some time that Sender, even Phoenix, although that hasn't been confirmed yet from the Seattle Surge, and some other coaches are considering other opportunities. Now, this is a strange one here to me for aBeZy, because, like, obviously he seems to have done a great job at Toronto. They're not going to want to get rid of him. But as he says, I'm still currently contracted to Toronto. We've mutually agreed, though, that I can move forward in exploring other esports opportunities. If interested, please contact me, etc. So this is maybe rather telling other esports opportunities. You would imagine this is still in the Call of Duty space, but this sounds to me more like maybe he wants to move on from coaching to a certain extent. Like, does he want to be a general manager somewhere? Does he want to have like a management role at another organization? Because, you know, like, coaches, they don't get that much credit at the end of the day. Like, the pay probably isn't quite there compared to some of the other, you know, the players on the team. And I think a lot of these coaches understandably are like, well, you know, look, let me just explore other opportunities, coaches, general management roles, whatever, on other teams. And, you know, I might get paid more money, might get, you know, more credit. And that's the thing. Like, maybe as a coach, you want to move on after a few years. Like, you've done a good job with that team, you want to move on and do a good job with another team. And it might also prove to be better for the bank account at the end of the day. So definitely an interesting one for aBeZy, I think, because of the job that he seems to have done very well at Toronto. And it's a similar story really to the Crowder stuff on FaZe. Like, you know, does losing aBeZy hurt Toronto quite significantly? Because I think it's been a big question going into this season. Like, the meshes of the different personalities might not be ideal on that Toronto team, because you've got a guy like Scrappy coming in who actually replies to this tweet saying, "Gonna miss you, brother." So this implies to me that, you know, he's almost certainly gone. Like, you know, aBeZy says, "Love you, my guy. Pleasure getting to spend time with you." So he's saying that he's still contracted and could stay, but Scrappy reckons that he's gonna go. So probably aBeZy is gonna be gone. I don't know what you guys want to read into this, but that's what I would say. Now, of course, the Scrappy part of things is interesting because he has a rather different personality than a lot of the, you know, European guys on the team. But is it going to work well with Insight? And of course, you know, might have Standy now on the team and ClearNex, right? Is that going to work so well from a chemistry, communication perspective? Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure it could work, and they could find a way to make it work with good coaching stuff and stuff like that. And of course, they've got other coaches, not just aBeZy on that team. But obviously, I think he's done a pretty good job. Most people would agree that with the Toronto team the last couple of seasons, especially that call to, you know, drop methods for Insight was, you know, pretty inspired, right, looking back on it. So if aBeZy does indeed leave, I think it does leave Ultra in a bit of a question mark spot with regard to their chemistry going into next season, despite the fact that on paper they do have an awful lot of talent. And this just to mention from Krone, I did bring it up briefly a second ago accidentally, but as he says, there's been 19 players that have played for Legion in the last 3 years. They have a Modern Warfare where of course it was 5v5, and then Cold War last season they made a lot of changes. So 19 players over 3 years, and 2 of them are still in the league. Kismet survived the Paris kind of you know, wrecking crew from back in their Modern Warfare days and has made it back into the league. Tim of course is still there now, but I mean, yeah, 2 out of 19, not a pretty record for Paris Legion, and that maybe Vegas Legion will be a different story. But yeah, that's crazy to think about, right? Like, pretty much everyone they've picked up has found themselves out of the league. Is that bad decision making on their part? Definitely in part. Or is that a consequence to a certain extent of the players when they're on Paris and don't have good results, they then don't get picked up again, even if they are good enough to get picked up again? Difficult scenes, but that's one of the reasons why some players want to avoid Paris, and understandably so. Just to mention real quick on Attach, because these LAN only cards have been coming out here from Lion Man over on the Breaking Point socials. Some really nice numbers, of course, here from Attach, but in fairness, his record on LAN this season was 3-9, so pretty interesting, right? These numbers for a 3-9 record, like, 91 rating, that's maybe not, well, it doesn't look so pretty, right? And as Attach says, because stat powder for sure, but still, like, Minnesota obviously are committed to Attach. They're bringing him in this season. He's going to be the main AR, it does seem, for that Minnesota Rokkr squad. But Crimsix has definitely made his thoughts known that, yeah, Attach this season was just playing for kills, right, and wasn't really playing to win. So we'll see if Minnesota actually improve their results next season as much as a lot of us expect them to, with their new roster of Afro, Bance, and Cammy around Attach, of course. Let's dive into this drama then, right? So this, again, at Los Angeles Guerrillas, they know what they're doing. They come up with a video last night talking with Arcitys and Spart about all the stuff that happened in Rostermania. Couple of very spicy things in here, especially these few words here from Arcitys. So, of course, look, we know he got dropped from the Atlanta FaZe roster, and the circumstances around that were kind of surprising, really, just because, like, look, he was a legend to this team. He was a legendary player in Call of Duty history now, of course, #1 earner of all time in COD history after the most recent World Championship second place result. But as he said, when he did get dropped, he felt like there was no trust, no respect, still trying to figure out why the team didn't, like, tell him straight up he was getting dropped. He found out from friends that there were rumors of him getting dropped before he actually got dropped himself, which is never, obviously, an ideal thing to look at, right? So I'll share the clip for you guys here, what he has to say, because this was the tweet that came out. Now, look, whether Afro actually was the man that broke the news, or whether it was another man, because, I mean, when we saw this at the time, the theory was, wow, like, FaZe didn't tell him, someone else told him, then he deleted this tweet, and then he was kind of joking out, Afro is not true, or whatever. But maybe it was another guy, right, who broke the news to Arcitys, that, yeah, wow, I've heard the news, bro, that you're going to get dropped. And he's like, hang on a second here, wait, these lads haven't told me either. And apparently they were talking about Arcitys' problems as a player and why they didn't want to team with him to his family and, like, friends and stuff before they even told him.
What happened during the offseason when Atlanta FaZe that led to your departure? Well, let me get into this. My departure was kind of like, it was weird. Like, I'll be honest, it was weird. Those, I did call them, I'll be honest, I called them my best friends, and I thought they'll tell me anything, everything. And there's some things during the season that bothered them. No one said anything to me, but they brought it up to my mom, my brother, like, just, and they didn't, I guess, like I said, it's what the respect thing. Like, if they don't have the respect to tell me, like, in the off season, I text a group chat saying, haha, you guys dropping me? Because, like, someone DM'd me saying, yo, like, I heard the rumors. I said, what rumors? Then I got another one. I said, wait, hold on. So I texted the coaches after I texted the group chat. I said, if I dropped, and Crowder texted me on the side saying, we're looking at options. And I guess the options were cast with a ghost at that time. So they dropped me for nobody. From Hashim M698773332, shout out to you. Revenge tour and FaZe in your plans. I don't give a fuck about them, to be honest. I don't, like, there's gonna be a revenge tour. Obviously, I'm gonna go super hard when I play them, but why would I go hard versus them but not anyone else? Like, if I was salty, it would show that I don't want to be on this team. I'm not salty at all. Obviously, they dropped me in a disrespectful way, but it's just how life goes. So I'm very excited to be on this team. I'm very, very excited to represent LAG. Like, there's no revenge tour for them. It's for everyone.
So quite the situation, right? And not really the activity you might expect from, I mean, look, this team was legendary, right? They were dominant in the Cold War season, won so many events, won the World Championship together. You would have thought there'd have been maybe a bit more respect, right, between the players to Arcitys to tell him to his face, like, yes, look, we're considering other options, rather than kind of saying it behind the scenes, talking to, like, his mother and stuff about, like, why they want to get rid of him, and Arcitys doesn't even know. He finds out through a friend that texts him. And then even when Crowder says, like, this is the other part that kind of gets me, when he's like, well, actually, they might have just been straight up lying about the situation, because, like, he was then texting Crowder after hearing the rumors from, like, people texting him, like, yo, you're getting dropped. He's like, hang on a second, am I getting dropped? And then he asked Crowder, and Crowder's like, yeah, well, you know, we're looking at our options. And of course, this also, like, the fact that he texted me, which is also interesting, because usually you might expect that, especially given, like, look, if this team was lasting 2 months, and this team had no success, and your coach is texting you to say, yeah, we're looking at our options, that probably feels fair enough to a certain extent, right? But, like, when your team has won this many events, has teamed together for 2 whole seasons, as of course even Arcitys with Simp and aBeZy won the World Championship together back in Black Ops 4, right? And played together through the latter half of that season as well. So, like, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about the tenure that these guys have with each other, that then they're going to be like, yeah, we'll just text you, right? Not even give you a phone call or whatever. We're just going to text you. We're looking at our options. And even as Arcitys said at the time, because at that time they were dropping him, obviously they had no clear replacement, right? Like, there was no one for sure that they were going to bring in. So, like, when they decided to get rid of him, because obviously the team had decided to get rid of him, arguably long before they had the replacement, right? So maybe Crowder was technically telling the truth, right? They're looking at their options, but it's not like they had a clear guy they wanted to line up. They just wanted to, like, get rid of Arcitys for sure, which is kind of strange, because I would have thought that maybe, and even, like, they were mentioning this on the OpTic podcast, that, well, like, maybe they told Arcitys, like, we're looking at our options, but if we don't get the suitable replacement, then, you know, we're going to keep it going. And of course, like, that, the chemistry wise, that might not not ever work out too well. And that, I think, is what Scump said, that, well, the bridge is probably burnt at that point. But, I mean, yeah, still the idea that they texted him saying that they were going to drop him when had talked to his family about, like, what his issues were before even really talking to him, and really he's not even clear himself exactly why he got dropped. He just feels like there was a massive lack of respect and trust for him and his playstyle, and, you know, the lack of results eventually took their toll, but also the idea that they were kind of, well, telling him that they're looking at options and dropping him, whereas in reality they didn't really have anyone lined up and took quite some time to clear up the situation with. They maybe wanted insight, they got Slasher in the end. No doubt a really messy situation, right? So definitely intrigued to your thoughts on all that one in the comment section below, and also what does that mean going forwards, because Arcitys then went on to say, okay, the rivalry with FaZe, like, obviously he wants to beat them pretty badly next season, right, understandably, but he also said that, like, he wants to beat everyone badly, he wants to win every single match he plays, not just this particular one. But I mean, yeah, what do you think about this trend? Because it's always a thing that happens in COD history, and I did wonder, as kind of COD progressed and that people got older and more, like, mature and experienced, that these kind of, you know, team dramas, especially for very successful teams, wouldn't necessarily happen to the same degree. But I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of, like, these guys at Simp and aBeZy didn't really want to tell him because, you know, he's kind of a friend to them, and Arcitys said actually that he treated, like, he thought they were really great friends, and then they just kind of do him bad like this, like do him dirty. And I was like, well, you know, maybe I'm just gonna, you know, screw those guys, I'm coming for revenge with my new squads. And probably this stuff does happen less often today than it did, you know, let's say even a decade ago, for example, right, back in the Black Ops 2 days, Ghost days, when people were always, like, going behind each other's backs, sketching, talking to their friends. Like, but at that point the scene was so immature that it's kind of what you expected. Nowadays, in a proper franchise league, you'd have thought that, you know, teammates wouldn't really do this to each other, and organizations wouldn't be run where players are finding out from their friends they're getting dropped on social media as opposed to actually getting told by their teammates. So yeah, kind of surprising to me, but definitely creates a very spicy trend going into next season, right? Because FaZe have to prove that their decision is, well, obviously well-founded, and Arcitys wants revenge massively indeed on this Los Angeles Guerrillas squad. Is it good enough to get revenge on, though? I suppose we shall see that in due course. Couple of things to mention before we close out the video here. This is honestly kind of surprising in a way. I think some of these are kind of nice. Even Lion Man reckons these are kind of nice. But I mean, yeah, aBeZy kind of partnered with the Call of Duty League. They're coming out with 2021 trading cards this season in 2022. I don't really get why it's delayed by like a year and a half, especially because of some of the ideas that they have. But I will bring these up regardless. So, I mean, you can kind of see this like solo ink, like autograph cards or something. And then we've got these things, which I guess are pretty cool. Okay, the Crimsix Empire one. It's kind of nice in a way to have these just because, like, well, for some of the brands that are now retired, right, you know, Crimsix, of course, on Dallas Empire, like, pretty cool to have some stuff coming out with regard to that. Not exactly sure how, you know, expensive these are to acquire or whatever. This is the one that I don't understand at all, though. So there's like, there's some fan choice cards. There's comeback of the year here on the left-hand side that you guys probably can't quite see. And then on the right-hand side, you've got like a matchup card. Like, and I don't really understand exactly what the point of this is, but like, who wants to collect a card to kind of commemorate the legendary matchup between OpTic and Royal Ravens on the 15th of May 2021? Wow, what a legendary game. Really sticks in the mind, right? Like, so I don't really understand this, especially because Scraps wasn't even on that team, right? I don't actually, this doesn't make any sense to me. Scraps wasn't even on that roster in 2021. It was on the team in 2020, and it was 4v4, not 5v5. So I guess they're putting, like, it doesn't make any sense. This wasn't even the roster in 2021. So, like, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they just made a mistake on that one. I don't really understand it. But, I mean, yeah, this is what's going on. So, a bit strange, to be honest, but those are coming out later this season for last season's match with players that didn't even play in last season's season. So, like, whatever. It is what it is. It's Activision doing it again. But there might be some cool stuff to commemorate, you know, that season in there to at least some degree. Just this as well from the Rokkr, top 4 Call of Duty maps of all time. This is a decent list. I don't know why, like, Frequency is not there for me. Like, Frequency is probably nowhere near, to be honest. Decent map, but, like, it wasn't great, let's be perfectly honest here. Like, compared to some of the other legendary ones. I mean, you've got to put Raid in there. I would put probably at least a couple of maps from Black Ops 3. Fringe would probably be there for me. Stronghold is an absolute guarantee. I absolutely love that map from Black Ops 3. And then, yeah, to find a fourth, I might even say Hot Take, but Retaliation from Infinite Warfare. That was a banger. Or maybe, like, Throwback from that game or something, because that was pretty good as well. I think Infinite Warfare deserves more respect with regard to its map, to be honest. But then also you could do, like, BioLab or something, or Solar from Advanced Warfare. Top 4 is tough, I'm not gonna lie. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. Tell us the YouTube gods, this is a good video. I was like you should see it as well. And I hope grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.